Williams let the flyby go. Back down three. Oklahoma City down 15-0 to start. Has come back. Third quarter for the Thunder. They're most in the third quarter this postseason. And the bench doing it again.
Trouble making my teammates better right now. I need to be more of a team player.
Down 15 to start. The Thunder win by 15 and take a 2-1 series lead.
Game 4 NBA Western Conference Finals. Thunder Spurs coming up tonight. OKC leads the series 2-1 so far this series. The Thunder bench has outscored the Spurs bench by 119 points. The OKC bench has scored 50 or more points in each of the first 3 games of this Western Conference Final. We said good morning to NBA reporter Tim MacMahon. Tim, the Thunder's depth has been a huge part of their success, not only in this playoffs, but the entire season. What do you make of how OKC has constructed this roster around their back-to-back MVP?
Howdy, Jay. Look, this is the deepest team in the league. I mean, J.J. Redick in the last series was basically bemoaning the Thunder's depth. So they've got 13 guys who were top 7 or top 8 players on any of the roster in the NBA. And you can look at the bench scoring as evidence of that, especially without Jalen Williams, their arguably second best player. The other thing, though, to really look at is the defensive impact that this depth has had. They are throwing guys, they're throwing different bodies, fresh bodies, at Victor Wembanyama, at Stephon Castle, at the Spurs' primary guys. And, as Chet Holmgren said, we're not just throwing fresh bodies to, for the sake of it, just to have fresh legs on Victor Wembanyama. In Holmgren's words, the dudes coming in the game are dudes. I mean, it's Alex Caruso. It's Jalen Williams, Jay Will, who hit 5 threes in the last game. I mean, guys like Cason Wallace, an all defensive team player coming off the bench. The Thunder, they just come at you in waves, and that depth has definitely been a factor in this series, in this playoff run, wearing down the San Antonio Spurs.
And in case anyone's forgotten, OKC has the 12th pick in the upcoming NBA draft, so another dude is on the way. Both OKC and San Antonio.
And 17th.
yes, indeed. Hey, both OKC and San Antonio are dealing with injuries heading into Game 4 tonight. What do you have on that?
Well, the depth's taken a little bit of a hit. A.J. Mitchell, who was, fifth place in the Sixth Man of the Year voting, fill-in starter for Jalen Williams, will not play. He has a calf strain, a soleus strain. That's probably going to knock him out for at least the rest of the series. We'll see about Jalen Williams, J-Dub, their star wing. He is again listed as questionable with left hamstring soreness. That, of course, is the hamstring that sidelined him for 6 games earlier these playoffs. He wasn't close to playing in Game 3, despite being listed as questionable. Now, the Spurs had a blank injury report. That does not mean they are completely healthy. De'Aaron Fox is managing that high ankle sprain on his right leg. Dylan Harper is dealing with the adductor soreness. He certainly was not the same player in Game 3 that he was in Game 1 and Game 2 before he got hurt. And, as Mitch Johnson said, Victor Wembanyama creates the advantages for the Spurs. Typically, those advantages are exploited by their guards, but 2 of their 3 guards are nowhere close to 100%.
Spurs are 2.5-point favorites.
Williams let the flyby go. Back down 3. Oklahoma City down 15-0 to start. Has come back. Third quarter for the Thunder. They're most in the third quarter this postseason. And the bench doing it again.
Trouble making my teammates better right now. I need to be more of a team player.
Down 15 to start. The Thunder win by 15 and take a 2-1 series lead.
PJ Carlesimo will continue to be on the call for Game 4 of the Western Conference Final on ESPN Radio. He's our coach, and he's with us on SportsCenter this morning. We see Victor Wembanyama in that montage, Coach. I know we had to watch it. You had to listen to it, but it was the Thunder bench who really drew the attention in Game 3. They scored 76 points. What jumps out to you as you've watched that unit through the first 3 games of the series?
Randy, they've been unbelievable. They're averaging over 60 points a game. Bench points, the leader this year averaged 46, and they're doing it with multiple players. Alex Caruso's arguably been their best player in the playoffs. He's shooting over 60% from the field. Cason Wallace with the steals all the time. Jared McCain's probably the biggest surprise. Jalen Williams gets a chance to play, and he goes 5 for 6 from the three-point line. Jared McCain, you wouldn't even have talked about him, and he's got the third most points for the Thunder in this series. They had 4 guys in double figures, Rand, back-to-back games. That hasn't happened since 1971 in the playoffs. Yeah. Over 60 points a game from the bench is incredible.
Coach, you can't be in the game for decades without having ties to both of these teams. You were an assistant coach for the Spurs with Coach Greg Popovich. You won 3 titles between 2003 and 2007. Then you're the first coach for the Thunder franchise. So as a coach looking at this, what would be your game plan to try and contain the all-world player that is Victor Wembanyama?
Gary, I'm lucky I didn't have to come up with a game plan for this. But I mean, with Victor, all you can do, you have to be physical with him, first of all, with any great player, he or SGA. You got to give him different looks. Victor's problem is just what you're seeing. He can block shots. He can shoot threes. He can put the ball on the floor and score inside. He can score against fouls. He finishes inside. He's an excellent rebounder. When he posts up, and they've given him different looks. You saw him there against Caruso. Hartenstein did a very good job in game 2. Chet Holmgren a better job in game 3. So mix up the looks. Get Victor as far away from the basket as you can. Even if he shoots threes, yes, he can make threes, but that's better than him at the rim. So as many different looks and as physical as you can be with Victor is hopefully gives you a chance.
Keep his scoring out of the paint. Meanwhile, there's SGA, coach, who's coming off of that 26-point performance in Game 3 as the MVP is starting to get hot at a good time for the Thunder. If you're on the Spurs bench, take us back to those days. What would your game plan be to try to slow down the MVP?
Well, again, a back-to-back MVP. The problem is, Rand, he can also pass the ball. He's a very unselfish player. You want him to go right if you can. That's his patented move right there, going left. He shot just under 40% from the 3 in the regular season. So that's not an answer either. There's the pass. There's Cason Wallace. That bench stepping up again. You got to keep him off the free throw line. He led the league in the regular season. Free throws made. He's leading in the playoffs, free throws made. Again, give him different looks, be physical with him, and try and make other people beat you. But so far, that's been a problem for San Antonio because the other people for OKC are beating them.
That's Coach taking us to school, taking us to class, and you can listen to more of the Coach. Game 4 between the Thunder and Spurs tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio. PJ Carlesimo joining us this morning on SportsCenter. Coach, much appreciated.
Thanks, Gary.
Test champion Quentin Richardson back with us. We thought we would run back a little segment that we call Threes and Qs, focusing on tonight's Game 4 between the Thunder and the Spurs. Q, Rich, I'm going to give you a question and 3 options, and you're going to choose one and explain why. Okay, so first up, question is, which Thunder player will make the biggest impact off the bench in Game 4? Alex Caruso, Jared McCain, or Jalen, with an I, Williams?
All right, Randy. For me, it's Alex Caruso, man. All 3 of these guys, obviously, these 3 guys and more of their bench players have been huge and have been playing big for OKC. But for me, Alex Caruso is a constant, man. It doesn't matter whether he's scoring, whether he's playing tenacious defense and giving your best player 94 feet of hell up and down that court. But he's a consistent guy who's come in, and the Spurs could be up a little bit. He comes in, plays well, changes the pace of the game, and changes the energy of the game. He's an impact player and a game changer every game of the series for them. So I'm taking Caruso.
He's been a problem for San Antonio, flat out. A.J. Mitchell, meanwhile, has been ruled out for Game 4, and Jalen, with an E, Williams, is questionable for Game 4. All right, so next question. Which Spurs player, aside from Wemby, cannot afford to have a bad game? De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, or Devin Vassell?
I'm going with Steph Castle, Randy. I feel like Steph Castle, even though he's in his second year, he's quickly becoming the second most important player on the team after Wemby. He's a two-way player. He's a guy that can play combo guard, play both guard positions, facilitate. defend well at a high level. He's a high assist guy. So for me, even though he's only in his second year, and I know they got De'Aaron Fox and some of the other guys, I feel like Steph Castle has become the second most important player on this team.
He attacks that rim. He attacks on the defensive end and attacks the rim.
Yeah.
All right, finally,
Yeah.
and Wemby is a possible answer here. Which player, Q, is going to be the headline for Game 4? Wemby, SGA, or Chet Holmgren?
I'm gonna go with the MVP here. I'm going with SGA. I feel like he's kind of working his way out of the double teams and things they've done to him earlier in the series. He's kind of figuring it out, and he had his first 30 in a little while this last game. I expect him to come back and compound on that game and show the stuff that he's figured out in their defense. And I think he still will be the main attraction in this game.
OKC's dealing with injuries. We already told you about Jalen Williams and now AJ Mitchell, but SGA has been the constant. Those are your threes and Qs with Q Rich. Thank you, Q.
Yes.